Okay, these will zip right along because it says solve using the zero product property. And we've talked about this a bunch. In order to get 0 here, one of the two things you multiply together has to be equal to 0. So this and this are being multiplied together. So we're saying this will have some number that will make that equal to 0. We got to find that number. And this will also have a number that will make that whole thing become 0. And what are those numbers? So, and it's really easy. You say, I'm going to take each one, set them equal to 0, and then solve. And that's as simple as that. Plus 2, x must be equal to 2. That will make us, if we plugged in 2 everywhere we saw x, we'd get a 0 out. And x equals -7. If we plugged in -7 everywhere there was x, it would result in 0 as well. So those are the two answers. X equals 2, x equals -7, and that is A. Okay, zero product property. What we've got to do is we've got to take each one of these things and set them equal to 0. So we say 2x minus 4 could equal 0. And let's solve that. X equals 2. Or it might have been the 2x minus 1 that was equal to 0. Okay, that would have made the whole thing 0. There's a value for that. Both of these numbers, when plugged in for x, will result in 0 as an output. And where's that one? 2 and 1/2. It's B. One more. Okay. Slightly different, but not much harder. I think it's easier in a certain way. The two things that are being multiplied are the -8n and the 8n minus 8. So both of those things need to be set equal to 0 and then solved. Now, the reason that I say this is slightly easier is because when you have this monomial out front with a variable in it, then if -8 times some number is 0, just like the zero product property, how can you multiply -8 times something and get 0? Well, n must have been equal to 0, right? Because this wasn't 0, so what was 0? That would make a 0 here. Had to be that. So, but what we do is we just say, doesn't matter, you divide by the coefficient. And what is the coefficient? What is 0 divided by -8? It's 0. So n is equal to 0. So whenever you get something like that sitting out front, it'll be 0 will be one of the numbers. Okay, now what do we have to do here? Plus 8, 8n equals 8. And if 8n equals 8, then solving by dividing both sides by 8 means n is equal to 1. And so we got two numbers, 0 and 1, that are the solution. And where do we see that? We see that in D. All right, that was it, done.